Okay, so you saw who we drafted. We're excited. We're tired, but we're happy with our guys and try to bring them in here tomorrow. All of them came in to see us, and all very different players. Baldwin's kind of a big, versatile forward. We think can shoot, pass, high IQ guy. Another Milwaukee guy. I guess we like Milwaukee guys. His dad was a coach. Rollins, also out of Toledo. Both I think teenagers still, although he's a sophomore. Playmaking guard, shot well from the free throw line, good length. And Guy Santos, Brazilian guy, played with Barbosa. So yeah, we had a lot of different things we thought about doing, but ultimately did the deal with Atlanta to move up to take Rollins 51 for 44 with some cash. Thankfully, Joe dipped in and allowed us to spend a little bit more and do that, and that's it. Go ahead.
Bob, Baldwin was a five-star recruit coming out of high school. What happened at college?
I don't know. We'll see. Injuries, maybe. Sometimes guys come in and don't have the type of season they want. We talked to him. We asked him the same question. He said he committed late, and he said he got there and wasn't as acclimated as he wanted to be. Tried to fit in with his dad being the coach. In hindsight, maybe he thought he should be more aggressive, and then when he got injured, he never really got back at it. He said he didn't have any regrets, but he certainly thinks he could have had a better season, and we believe that too, or we wouldn't have drafted him.
What did you see that you loved?
Size, mostly, skill, IQ. We watched some film with him. You could tell he's a coach's son. Our system requires pretty high-level thinking. He's versatile. We think he can play with some of our guys. He's what you might call a shooting big in some capacity, but he can also pass. He handled a little bit in college. Just checks a lot of boxes, but he's going to have to put it together. He hasn't yet. He was a top 10, like you said, recruit coming out of high school, but now he's in the NBA, so he's going to have to get up to speed. But we invested a lot in our player development, and we believe that we can take talent and hopefully cultivate it, and we think he's one of those guys.
Hey, Bob, right here. Baldwin said, I think it was about 4 months ago in an interview, that he really values Draymond Green's leadership. Just wondering if that was kind of brought up when you guys talk with him, and if Draymond has already kind of given his take on the pick as well.
He was in the room. I don't know if you guys saw on TV. He hasn't really had a chance to study the draft as much. He watched it. He asked who he was after we took him. He said, I want to talk to him. Draymond's pretty engaged and involved, but I don't think he's talked to him yet. But he asked us more, what's he like? What can he do? I said, he plays well with you. I mean, he'd be a guy that can stretch the floor, and he's smart. I said, he's the type of guy that, will remember all the plays immediately. Again, being a coach's son, not that it makes a player be a good thinker, but most of them are. They've been around the game their whole life. So Draymond values that kind of thinking player. But he liked it. If he didn't, he would tell me. He has no problem doing that. Rollins as well. We told him a little about him, but neither are that visible of players. One coming out of Milwaukee, one from Toledo, and the other's a Brazilian kid. So we didn't draft guys that were at the forefront of everybody's mind as far as watching college basketball.
Couple quick ones. The Brazilian kid, is he coming over? Do you know yet?
Yeah, we got to figure that out. We've been talking about that. We were literally talking about that right now. So we have the option to bring him or not, and we're gonna decide that maybe tonight and in the next few days. We got to look at our roster spots. I would believe, obviously, Baldwin's a first-round pick, and Rollins will, we believe, be on the roster, and Santos is someone we have to decide on.
Got you. And then I wanted to ask about Baldwin's ankle. Where is he at? Where is the ankle at this point? And how much do you believe, or does he believe that affected his college season?
He think it affected it quite a bit. We asked him kind of when that got hurt, when he injured himself, was he ever able to kind of get it back? And he said no, he was battling uphill most of the time. And as far as now, when he came out here Wednesday or yesterday, or I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, he came and we had Rick look at him, and he talked about summer league, and he did some spot shooting, but nothing full speed. And he can do some things, but we're not going to put him out there if we don't think he's 100%. So Rick will evaluate him and make that call, and hopefully he can play, but not at the expense of hurting him. Maybe more in Vegas than in the Kyle Classic, but we'll see after Rick sees him again.
Bob, did he work out for you guys?
No, he came in and kind of shot. I mean, it depends on what you call a workout. He came in and we visited with him, and he went through medicals. We watched film, but not really a workout like the other guys. Rollins came in and did a 3-on-3 thing, and Santos worked out, but not. He didn't really work out Baldwin. Just a kind of a 1-on-0 half speed, just shot.
Was he higher on your draft board? Were you surprised that he was there, and if so, how did he get so high on your board after his season at UWM?
He was higher than 28. He was the guy that was the highest when 28 came along. And then as far as how he got there, we had some pretty big fans in our front office group early on. Some people went and saw him before he got hurt. It is definitely an upside swing for a guy that was highly touted and probably underperformed in college. But we feel like with talent, with our player development, we can develop some of these guys. They're all so young, and it's hard to find guys that big and that skilled, whether they're young or 19 or 20 or 30. And so we think we put him in our system. We give him a shot, surround him with guys that he respects. That's the advantage of having some of these guys that we have that have won before. When I was up there with Draymond, we were talking about how important leadership is, and we're lucky to have a guy like him and Steph and Clay and guys that have just won quite a bit. And we think if we plug talent into that equation, we can get a good outcome. But the players, they're going to have to do it, just like Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. They can be talented, but they're going to have to do the work just like Poole did. I mean, we saw a lot in Poole, and, did we do our part? Yeah, but he certainly did his part and more to become the player he is.
What intrigued you about Ryan's game, and how do you see him fitting in?
Ryan's game, the shot creation, we value that. I mean, looks like he can, dribble, pass, shoot. Shot well from the free throw line, not as well from three, but looking at our Noah numbers when he was in here, he's got a very straight shot. He shot 31-something from three, which isn't great, but we think he can get a little stronger in his legs and extend out there. He's a really good mid-range shooter. He's got great separation. He's got a little bit of that Poole game where watching him play one-on-one, he's a really tough cover. He handles the ball really well. He's got a good crossover, step back, can get into his shooting pocket. And he plays well on the defensive side. He's really long. We had him at about 6'4", but about a 6'9", 6'10" wingspan. So a lot of the characteristics that we like in players, the length, the skill set, and shot creation is always valuable. Liked his attitude, liked his competitive spirit. A lot to like about him.
Bob, with Baldwin and his versatility, what are his strengths right now, and what are the things that you want to see him work on? You said that he sort of referenced not having the kind of season he wanted.
Yeah, I think he just needs to put it together. I mean, he's got a great skill set. If you watch him shoot, it's a great-looking shot, but he didn't shoot a high percentage. He can probably rebound better. You watch him handle the ball. He's got a great handle, but it's just about getting it all together, and he hasn't quite done that yet. I mean, I think he's done it in the AAU circuit, EYBL, but not in college. I think he would agree that he has more to give. And then as far as fitting into our system, how can we do well with those kind of players, putting him in spots. He's a good passer. He's a good decision maker. So there's a lot to like about him. But, he's going to have to improve just like all these guys. But we think Steve will like him. We think our players will like him. He fits with a lot of – when you can shoot and you're big, you can play like Bielitsa did for us, like Otto did for us. You can play with a lot of our different lineups.
And you spend the $2 million to move up. Were you targeting Rollins from a while? I guess you must have been afraid somebody was going to grab him. And was that a position you think you had to get in this draft?
It wasn't as much about position, Tim, as much as it was about how high we had him and how much we liked him. So it wasn't like, we had to get a backup guard as much as it was. We think this guy's very talented, and we wanted to grab him on our roster. We talked about, can he play with Poole? Who could he play with? But at the end of the day, we saw talent. And we didn't think he'd be there at 51. Thankfully, Joe agreed and said, you can spend the $2 million and go get him. And that was the logic behind it. We didn't think he'd make it that far. And the gap between Rollins and the next guy we had was pretty high, and that's why we made the move to try to get up to 44.
Let's go Warriors. Let's go Warriors. Let's go Warriors.